We are live. Hey, everybody. Hope you're having an awesome day. I got to say that, right? I got to plug that. So, hope everybody's waking up and getting motivated and moving a little bit for today. And I'm really, really honored and really, really happy to have your pal Misty. I'm going to say my pal Misty just because I'm
Sure.
selfish and I want to be my pal. So.
I'm on your live stream, Alan. You can claim me right now. No worries.
So, so hopefully everybody's joining. Hopefully it's good. I think we'll talk a little bit about our journeys a little bit and the things that we've gone through. And I'm going to ask Misty a little bit about it because Misty's you've had much more of a, I should say, you've had much more of a journey than I've had. So I kind of had a shorter journey. I went 50 pounds. I went less than half of what you did.
Yeah.
So,
Still impressive, though, and you've kept it off a long time.
Yeah, I've done really well. So I've been, and that was one of the things about it is that this has been, people say it's not sustainable, but for me, it's been the only one that's been sustainable for me.
Absolutely.
So it's been, over 4 years now for me. So, so it's been great. But so let's ask Misty a little bit about her journey and what's going on. I know a lot of people know Misty. If you don't know Misty, she has another YouTube channel. I think we connected about a year ago. I would say pretty close to a year ago. She was one of the first few people that I started watching in here. So, and I started this channel in January of last year. So,
okay. Yeah.
So, and just it's been insightful. It's been inspiring to watch you. So I really enjoyed it. You also make everybody feel very relaxed, very at home. So it's kind of interesting, and I think everybody enjoys that because you're just you. You're not somebody that's putting on a show, and you don't have an army of people there, and you're scripting and all that stuff. So it's kind of and I love the bloopers at the end of your videos. So it's
everybody likes to get it together, Misty, and Misty's got to get it together some days, Alan. Yeah. So y'all are in luck.
Yeah. Well, for me, when I got to get it together, it would probably be the video. The end of the video would be about an hour long because I mess up so much.
Some of mine get pretty long.
So I'm hoping that as well as if you guys in the chat room have questions or anything else that you'll ask us, because we really like to make this interactive. So as we go through stuff and ask questions, that you ask the questions too. If you want to know something, let us know. So
yeah.
So Maha's telling me that I'm skinnier than ever. So I don't know about that, but I actually have been, believe it or not, I've been maintaining. So I weighed this week and I was at 179.6. So I've been trying to set that 180 goal. And at the end of January, I went up to like 183, and now I'm kind of coming back down. But,
yeah, that's great.
But now I want to try to focus on building muscle and not so much, losing the fat now. So that's kind of going to be the goal, to stay there to build that muscle a little bit. And so enough of me, but Misty, tell me a little bit about your story. And,
sure.
So there's viewers on here that may not know you.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for having me, Alan. I've enjoyed watching your channel. Like I said, or like you said, we've known each other for about the last year. And for someone like me who's still sort of new to it, it's very important to see people like you who have done it, who have maintained it, and then who sustain it. And it is a sustainable thing. So, yeah, my name's Misty. My YouTube channel is Your Pal Misty. And I've been on YouTube for a little over 2.5 years, but 2 years ago, on February the 2nd, 2020, I decided that it was time for me to go on a weight loss journey. I had gotten a new position at my job. I was supposed to be able to travel, going overseas to the Philippines, going to multiple different locations within the United States, and found that it was exhausting to travel, just even locally. I went to Rockford, Illinois. I was having to stop every 30 to 40 feet. I was just so tired and didn't know how I was going to get all that travel in. And I had done a modified version of the keto diet. And I was like, you know what? Let me just try it. Let me just try it the way they say to do it. Give it a go, see how it goes. And 2 years later, almost 120 pounds down and feeling better than I have ever, to be honest, Alan. So it's been quite a journey. It didn't start out as easy or as strong as I feel in my journey now, of course. It started out a little bit trickier with a lot more food that I might not should have had on plan. No exercise whatsoever until I was almost 100 pounds down before I even started that. So I still, unlike you, still have a ways to go in the weight loss portion of it. Although recently, instead of weight loss, I've been focusing more on calling it the fat loss, because I don't want to lose any of my muscle or any of the good, healthy, pieces within that weight.
Yeah.
But I do want to lose additional fat. And I think that the exercise is also helping with that. So yeah, it's been 2 years. It's the rest of my life to go. And it's just been a fun journey. And I'm so thankful to have people like you on here who not only do the videos of recipes, which are obviously nice, but everybody knows I'm not really the biggest cook. But I even like how you break down keto for people who have never done it before. You explain the difference between net carbs, total carbs, the PSMF that you've been doing, which has been very popular, and you've been very successful with those recipes.
Yeah.
So I think this community is great, and I love having people like you in the community to just inspire me to keep going. I mean, I know you started on a health journey yourself. The doctor said you needed to lose the weight. You've done it. You're in so much better health now. Same sort of story with myself. I was on blood pressure medication when I started. I'm no longer on that medication. I was on thyroid medication, no longer on that medication. So I no longer take any prescription meds that I used to take when I was 120 pounds heavier. So it's a life changer, and I'm excited to be here and to talk about it with anybody who wants to listen.
So Cheryl's asking about, first of all, I want to thank everybody that's coming, because I know Maha's on here, Nikki and G's on here, Cheryl's on here, Sherry's on here. I can't see everybody else that's on here, but I want to thank all you guys that are coming. So Jerry's on here. It's quite a good crew. So thank you. So Cheryl's asking, what's your favorite exercise? So I'm going to be honest. My favorite exercise is, I like to work my core a little bit. So yeah, it's the hardest, but it's actually the one I enjoy the most. So I don't know why, but but I do. So I like getting down on the floor. I'm not good at it. I struggle with it. So but I think it has to do a lot with, because it helps with my back pain. It helps with my balance and stuff like that. And as you get older, you start losing some of that balance and some of that stuff. So for me, I mean, I don't go crazy. Like Christy's video the other day was pretty intense.
It was so hard. I couldn't do a lot of those things she could do. Man, she rolled up and stood up without even using her hands. I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Core is hard. So that's amazing.
So Misty, what's your favorite exercise?
To be really honest, I mean, it's kind of an easy exercise, but one thing that I've really been focusing on is my upper body. And so I've been really interested in just all of the different bicep curls, because not just a regular bicep curl, but then you have the hammer curls, then you have ones that kind of go out, like all the different bicep movements for me right now is just very interesting. It's a very large muscle group that I want to try to grow, because my legs are stronger just because I was 330 pounds and my legs had to carry that weight around. So my legs are much stronger than my core and my upper body. But I have to say, for a favorite exercise, there's something about pumping out them bicep curls that just make me feel really strong and motivated to keep going. So right now I'd have to say a variation of different bicep curls is my favorite, Cheryl.
Yeah, that's cool. Maha said it's a new version of Misty, so
Yeah, Yeah, Mama says I'm pressuring everybody into working out, but I just enjoy it so much. Like this morning, I was on Kirsten's live stream and she was stretching for a 5K. And I'm like, well, I mean, I got time. Let me go walk a 5K. So I just
Yeah.
went to the gym because it's pouring down rain here. I was going to go outside and do it, even though it's a little cooler. So, yeah, this morning I just went and walked a 5K just because. A year ago, well, not even a year ago, in April, I had to train a month and a half to even be able to walk a 5K, and today I did it just because. So it's a great,
Wow.
it's a big change.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. Would you ever thought that you'd be exercising in your life?
No, I had no plans of exercising, Alan. When I first started, one of the reasons that I started keto was because I could lose weight without exercising, because I'd never exercised. I didn't know how to do it. I felt like my knees were bad. I felt like my back was bad. And not that they weren't bad, but it was mainly because I was carrying the 330 pounds. And so I lost almost 100 pounds and then started walking. And then Nikki and my best friend Carolyn were on my live stream and we're like, hey, let's do this ab workout with Val at Home Workout Health Hub. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. But I mean, they're my friends. And so I decided to do it with them. And then the next month we did Smithy's 21-day beginner activity. And then I started following Kirsten. Then I started following Sharon. And the fitness has just really picked up. And that has really changed the way that I feel. Like I feel even better, even though I've only lost another maybe 20 or 30 pounds since I've started the fitness than I did losing, 80, 90 pounds before that.
Yeah. So Keto Mama Michelle just joined us. So hi, Michelle. So, and then Nikki and G, I'm not sure which one of them asked about advice about best keto plan to start with. So
best keto plan to start with. So I'm assuming you mean, because there's all different kinds of keto, and I feel like we could just talk about the different kind. The one that you will do and sustain, Nikki.
Yeah.
Would be the best keto plan for you. There's so many different varieties, guys, and that's why sometimes for me keto is kind of hard to talk about, because if you say keto, people have a perception of a very high fat, moderate protein, low carb diet. And I don't eat that much fat because I already have enough on me that my body can use as fuel. So I actually do a little bit more higher protein than fat. So it's more of a higher protein, kind of moderate fat, lower carb. And then I know you have days where you do total carbs and days where you do net carbs. Yeah. That's actually something that I think as I get farther along, it's easier to lose weight when you're 330 pounds. Let's just be really honest about it, right? It's easier at 330 than it is at 220. And I know that I'm going to have to make modifications to the way that I eat. And right now I do what they call a dirty, lazy keto. And very simply to explain that to everybody is I only track net carbs, which are the total carbs minus the fiber and the sugar alcohols. I keep that under 20 to 25. And eat whatever will fall within there.
Yeah, now, I kind of found one
healthier, but I'd eat a lot of just meat and vegetables. But I do have treats that sort of make up that extra.
Yeah. My advice would be: are you doing it for weight loss or are you doing it for health? Because I think to me there's a little difference.
There's a big difference. I agree.
So I would ask that first, and then kind of keep it simple, right? I mean, like you said, meats, whole foods, and meats and vegetables, and just kind of track it, and keep it really, really simple at first. Anyway, the first month or two, and stay away from all the keto treats and the high key cookies and whatever Slim Fast peanut butter cups, and stay away from all that stuff at first. Try to get because to me anyway, the first month and a half or so, when you eat sweets, it kind of makes you want to have sugary items, so which makes you want to kind of go back to the way you were. So I don't know. So again, do you want to do it for health, or you just want to do it to lose some weight? Because you do it to lose weight, just track your macros and don't worry about it. If it's more health, then you kind of look at the ingredients and you start saying, well, I don't want the soy because it causes inflammation, or I don't want something else because it bothers me or to me anyway. So there's a big difference. So we got Miss PJ joined us.
That's my
Carolyn
mama.
joined.
Hey, mama. Thanks for joining. I love when my mama gets to join.
Carolyn joined us.
Hey, Carolyn. I was talking about you earlier, Carolyn.
And Thomas joined us. So
Tom, nice to meet you, Tom. But yeah, no, I agree. It depends on what your goal is as to what's going to work best. But something that you said is also something that I would suggest for anyone starting keto. Start with just proteins and vegetables. Like just start super easy, whole, clean foods. For one, the keto treats won't taste as good if you've been eating sugar. They don't actually start, at least in my opinion. It took about a month for my taste buds to kind of change, maybe even 2 months, to where the keto treats started to taste good. Before that, they kind of tasted like fake sugary and they weren't very good. But now if I eat a Slim Fast Fat Bomb, I'm like, this thing is delicious. And now my body is accustomed to that kind of sugar alcohol in it, which some people also avoid. But yeah, I think staying very true and easy when you first start is the best recommendation I would give. Then once you've nailed that and you're fat adapted, meaning that your body will use the fat as fuel, then you can add in some treats and just keeping it at a healthy balance, a 80-20, 90-10 balance, whatever works for you.
Yeah. So, so it's, it, especially that first month or two. And I would also, for me anyway, I would track, because if you want some help or some advice, people have to know what you're eating, right? So, and at least for the first month or two, so it also helps you understand what carbs are in what foods. So that way there, if you decide later not to track, you kind of just can eyeball it and say, hey, geez, I know that this thing is about 5 carbs. This is 3 carbs. So you can kind of, in your own head, you can kind of keep track of it. Now, also be very, very careful of the hidden sugars, right? So like in ketchup, there's a lot of sugar in ketchup, a lot of sugar in condiments in general. So so there's a lot of things you got to watch out for, dressings and stuff of that nature, even the breads and stuff. So my advice for people and for the first month or so, I would stay away from like even the keto breads and stuff because of wheat glutens and stuff like that, because you want your body to kind of get adapted and get that fat adapted, like Misty had said. So I don't know whether that helped you, Nikki or G, but but keep it simple. Keep it simple, and for me to track and at least for the first month or so, 6 weeks, and then you can kind of get a baseline of what you're doing, how you're doing it. And I know Nikki and G, you did really well when you cut out the sugar, and I'm going to tell you that's keto is really cutting the sugars out. So, right. So, and learning how to live without them. So.
Yeah, and you get used to it to where you don't even. I thought I would miss certain foods a lot more than I end up missing them once I found other foods, because other foods became more delicious. I never knew broccoli and Brussels sprouts could taste so dadgum good, but they really get good. And you find the sweet in foods, just the natural sweetness. Like when I do have fruit, it is so sweet to me. And back in the day, it didn't feel like it was very sweet. I'd be like, oh, this isn't a good strawberry. It's not very sweet. And now just even a basic strawberry is like, oh, it's so sweet, because your body gets used to not having that sugar in there. And I think for a lot of people, you would just be served really well by even eliminating the added sugars. There's so many added sugars, like you said, Alan, in all of the dressings and the condiments and the foods that you eat, the drinks that you drink, especially. There's always hidden sugar in those. It's so easy to hide sugar in your drinks. So reading labels, keeping it simple. One thing with keeping it simple is if you're just eating whole foods, there's no label to read. Broccoli's broccoli and real easy to keep track of. But to your point, Alan, now I'm not a tracker. I think most people who follow me know that tracking I have been a tracker. I have done where I weighed every bit of food. When I did a modified keto diet, I was under the supervision of a doctor, and it was one of those medical plans where you have to buy their meals. So ultimately didn't last in the long run, but it did teach me a lot of how many carbs are in things. So I still have that understanding of the food that I'm eating, and I'm very much into nutrition labels. I am not at the point yet where, like soy, a lot of people will eliminate that for inflammation. They'll eliminate the dairy, or pieces of the dairy for inflammation. I'm not there yet. Maybe one day. But for right now, I feel great with where I am. And so I don't feel the need to restrict it even more at this point.
Yeah. So for me, I'm doing a little more for the overall health. I'm not a young guy anymore. I'm getting close to that retirement age. So for me, a lot of those things I can actually feel it when I have it in my fingers and my hands and my elbows, shoulders, back, especially in my back. So when I eat something that causes inflammation in my body, usually the next day I'm pretty stiff, and I'm working and stretching, and I don't know if anybody else has that experience too, but that's just me. And everybody's different. Food reacts different to everybody. So you got to kind of find out what works for you. So Thomas had said that he's a type 2 diabetic and he has to eat clean. And he said the hidden carbs are just killing him. So because they're in everything. So
they're in everything. I learned
really
so much by reading food labels when I first started. I was amazed and shocked. I even remember getting some almonds, and I was like, oh, these are almonds. How could almonds be bad? But they were like a flavored almond. It was like a coconut almond. And I ate it, and I was like, this is so sweet. Why is this coconut almond so sweet? Second ingredient was sugar. Third ingredient was brown sugar. I was like, well, no wonder it's so sweet. It was a candy. It wasn't an almond. You have to read the ingredients. Yeah, Tom, they're sneaky in there.
Yeah, they're. So I haven't even found, believe it or not, because I went to the store the other day and I get some tuna, and this brand I usually get has a hot and spicy tuna. And I read the label the other day, and they changed the formula in it, so now it has sugar in it, and it has a bunch of other crap in it now. And I think they're doing it trying to save some cost, because they either got to raise the price or put some kind of filler in it. So even if you buy it occasionally, you got to read the label, because they change things. So
that's true. So they will switch it on you and not let you know. And then you have 4 extra carbs in each serving. And a serving you may have 2 or 3 of, depending on what it is. That's that's what'll get a lot of people, is they don't realize how much, like even in creamers in coffee, if you're using like a regular creamer, oh my God, there's so much sugar in those things, So people start looking for the alternative creamers and things.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. Cindy was talking that she's actually kind of going from keto. She's actually moving more towards the carnivore type of a lifestyle. But like you said, I know people that are doing vegetarian. I know people that are doing Mediterranean keto. I know people that are doing carnivore, or people that are doing carnivore-ish. So there's a
ketovore, which is the keto carnivore combination. I did that for a while, actually.
Yeah. I don't know.
I needed vegetables. That was just me. I ended up feeling like I did need more vegetables on the carnivore diet. I'm not dissing the carnivore diet at all by any means. There are people who are super successful on that. But for me, I needed the vegetable. For some people, that kind of stalls them out, from what I understand, at least for them. Like the fiber in the vegetables is hard for their body to digest. Mine, I kind of need that fiber in my body, digesting things to keep everything moving. So I did keto.
I eat vegetables. Yeah, I eat vegetables almost every night. So
pretty much. I mean, every day I'm eating probably a couple of servings of vegetables, especially now, because I'm at that point where, and it's hard when you're on a journey to lose the fat and get the weight off. And then you start the fitness, and now I need more calories. So I'm in this sort of mental flux of, I want to do more, but also I need to eat more. If I eat more, will I gain what? Don't. And then you just don't worry about that. Just eat the foods that make you feel good. Do the workouts that make you feel good. And eventually the numbers will trend in the way to show that it's working for your body. But it is sometimes a little mentally taxing to have to add more food when you're trying to lose weight in order to do in order to lose weight. You have to eat more food sometimes. It sounds crazy, but it's the truth.
Yeah, a lot of people fail at keto because they're trying to restrict their food so much that do just the opposite of what they need to do. So
yeah,
I would totally agree with that. Like you said, you need to eat the right foods and you eat the right amounts, and you'll lose. You know, and it's not 1,000 calories a day. It's
a lot. It's
1,500 or 2,000 calories a day, depending on your metabolism and everything else, and what your activity levels.
And it's really easy on keto to not eat a lot of calories because fat is so satiating. Like you can eat some fat and protein and feel full for hours and hours, but only had 500 calories.
Yeah. So Sherry's saying tracking, she does total carbs. And I know Sherry and I kind of talked a little bit, and she actually is one of the ones that's actually helped me or made me wake up a little bit when I started doing what I'm going to do in March for food and stuff like that. And she does total carbs, and it really does help keep the sugar out. And sugar causes inflammation and causes illness as well. So I know my brother actually, my brother's actually going through a bout with cancer right now. And the first thing they told him is that you have to cut out all the sugar because the sugar feeds the cancer.
So it does. Yeah, people don't know that the sugar feeds the cancer. That's often something that they tell people who are diagnosed. Sugar's bad, guy. In my opinion, sugar's bad. If you could just even limit it or cut down some, I think you're going to tell a difference. And I think it does cause a lot of inflammation in a lot of people. I know when I eat sugar, when I eat heavy carb days, I don't feel as good the next day. And I think now as I am finally getting into a healthier spot, I'm starting to feel it more like you were saying. So I pay more attention to it now. And that's what I'm saying, even as I've gone over the last 2 years, what I ate in the beginning is wildly different than what I eat now. I still keto, but I was having way more treats and, fun stuff. And now I'm more of a whole food, vegetable proteins with the occasional, fat bomb, keto cookie. I mean, I have the Bang energy drinks every morning, of course, but those are, no calorie, no sugar. But that's the biggest vice I think I have is the Bang energy drinks for some people because they are sweetened with sucralose and some people don't like the sucralose. So total carbs is really interesting to me. What, if you don't mind me asking you and Sherry, since you both do it, what is your total carb limit? Like, do you go 50 carbs, 55 carbs?
So for me,
carb limit, because I think people would find that interesting.
So for me, when I'm trying to lose weight, my total carbs is 20.
Oh, okay.
So that's when I'm in weight loss mode. I'm trying to figure out. So what I'm going to do in March is I'm going to go track total carbs. I'm going to do 30 total carbs. I'm going to see how I'm doing. If I start losing weight, I will increase it to 40, and then I'll hold it there. So because I don't really want to lose weight, I want to kind of keep it where I am and maintain. And I think Sherry's in the same situation. But what I found was when I started doing it, I was doing net carbs, and I would say I did net carbs for the first 2 years, and I lost the weight, and then I kind of hit a plateau, and I guess kind of stalled. I wasn't gaining weight, but I wasn't losing weight, and I was doing 20 net carbs. So then I switched to 30 net carbs, and I started losing weight, but it was very, very minor, right? So
weight loss.
Yeah, 0.2 of a pound, half a pound, and then it said, well, so I'm going to cut the carbs down. When I went to 20 carbs, it was pretty consistently every week. I was losing pretty consistently every week. So, and I don't know, Sherry, if that was your experience as well, because I know you're in maintenance mode now too, and you're trying to figure it all out. And I think, getting there is half the battle. Staying there is the other half. So, or continuing. So.
I think and that's why I love channels like yours, Alan, because you've been doing this for 4 years. And like you said, you might not have had as much weight to lose as me, you know, when you started, but still you've lost the weight and then you've maintained that weight.
Yeah.
And now I know you're working even more on your fitness and upping that game, you know, as you go, which of course excites me because I'm into that as well. But yeah, I like seeing people who are in maintenance. It's inspiring for me to know that not everybody just puts it back on, because that's a lot of the times the story that you hear is that they do it and then they drop it. So 20 total carbs. That's interesting. I'm curious to see how many total carbs I eat. I may look at doing that 1 month just to do a total carb month and see where it lands.
Well, what it does is it makes you cut out all the snack foods. So
because the gluten would add extra carbs, or even in some of the treats they add a bunch of, you know, sugar carbs, which are counted in the total carbs. So it doesn't subtract from that. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so you know, because I could become for a while there, I kind of get to the point where I was eating the Rebel ice creams and I was eating the Keto sea salt bars. I still do occasionally. But I went from eating them pretty regularly to every once in a while now. So that's what it forced me to do. It kind of made me rethink a lot of that stuff. The no sugar keto cups that you get at Costco, and the protein bars, or the NOLA bars and all that stuff that are 2 net carbs, but you look at the total carbs on them and they're 19. Bread. The keto breads are, you look at the total carbs on them and they're like, you know, some of them are up in the 30s, you know? So it makes you rethink a lot of that stuff and how you're eating. So it basically makes you eat whole foods. Cleaner. So like I said, eat cleaner. So, you know, you're eat the meats and you're eating vegetables. And I try to eat a third of a cup of some kind of berries every night: raspberries, blueberries, strawberries. Blueberries are pretty high in carbs, so it's more raspberries and blackberries.
Yeah.
So
I still have to limit my fruit, sort of what we talked about earlier with when you first started. Sorry?
I was going to, Carolyn has to leave, so thank you, Carolyn, for
Bye,
being
friend.
here.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate you being here. I'll talk to you later. Oh, Kirsten's here too. Hey, Kirsten, thanks for joining.
Yeah, Kirsten's here. Michelle's from Life's Adventures
and Keto. Sorry, I was not even reading the comments at all. Hey, everybody, thanks for being here. Yeah, I think that's interesting, 20 total carbs, because when I hear a lot of people talk about total carbs, they're normally like the 40 to 50 range, but that could be that they're more where you are in a maintenance phase. Like you said, you're going to try 30 and then you'll increase it if you start to lose. So it's always, it never ends. That's what I was talking about with Kirsten actually just the other night. It's people ask, you know, what are you going to do after you lose the weight? And I think Alan is a perfect example of, you do the same thing, but sometimes you even then have to modify.
Yeah. I mean, you got to figure out what works for you, because some foods people are trigger. Some people are allergic to certain foods. Some, you know,
for sure.
So, you know.
And some people they find once they do the whole foods and they cut out the gluten or they cut out the dairy, they find that was part of the problem.
Yeah. And I don't know everybody's story on here, but I know there's a ton of really great stories on here. I know Sherry's, she's like close to you. I think she's lost over 100 pounds. But Michelle over Keto Mama Michelle's over 90 pounds. And there's some really great stories in here. You know, so, you know, it's really amazing to meet all these people and hear all these inspiring stories and stuff like that. So right now, do you track it all? Do you?
I do not track at all, Alan. Tracking makes me nervous. I become obsessive. It is literally what happens. I will weigh every piece of food that goes into my body, and then I try to maximize it and get my macros perfect, and then I hate it, and then I want to stop, and then I want to just eat foods that aren't even good for me because I don't even want to worry about it anymore. So I still read the nutrition labels, because I do, you know, there are some times where I try to limit the maltodextrin, I try to limit the xylitol, I try to limit the, you know, inulin, all the sugars and things that sometimes spike your sugar more than sugar can.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's really what it's about. It's about the insulin level and trying to keep that sort of regulated. And I feel like I feel the best when I do that. But yeah, I mean, it's different for everybody. And tracking, a lot of people need to track because they come from a place where they were eating too much or not enough, and tracking that helps them know where they are. And for a lot of people, tracking is a very successful part of their journey. Like I said, I had tracked in the past, but the mental struggles of the tracking for right now made it not worth it for me to track the food. I track it in my mind. Like I said, I track net carbs under 20 to 25 every day. And that's what I do. So I know like how many carbs are in the broccoli. I mean, how many carbs are in the Brussels sprouts. But then I have to look, like if I'm going to have a tortilla, I know it's 4 net carbs, right? It may be 20 total carbs, but again, I'm not there yet. So I track loosely, but I only really track carbs. I don't track calories, fat, anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, in the 4 years, everybody talks about how calories matter and calories are important. I've never tracked calories. And the more I read about it and the more I hear about it, they talk about calories are not the same. One calorie is not the same as another. A meat calorie is high protein. It takes your body 10 to 20% more energy to burn that calorie than it does something else. So, so it's a little different. So, there's a lot going on in the comments. So, Alita's here.
Hey, Alita. Hope you had a safe trip.
See. I know they're having someone asking some questions and stuff in the comments here. I'm gonna have to go back.
Yeah, go back. Sorry, I haven't been reading.
I've been talking and I haven't been really. I'm trying to watch, but
it's tricky on a dual live stream, Alan. Welcome to the dual live stream where you got to pay attention to me and everybody else. It's
yeah. Well, actually, I really enjoy this because it's actually much more enjoyable than talking just to the camera and a piece of plastic and metal and.
Yeah, it is nice to have someone to bounce it off of. I don't disagree with that. I like the joint live streams. Any of you who know me, you know I like a joint live stream. The more, the merrier.
So one of the things, and I actually heard this the other day. You have anybody tell you you're doing keto? That's not sustainable. You can't do that. You're never going to keep the weight up.
Oh yeah, all the time. People ask me what I'm going to do after keto. I'm going to do keto after keto. I'm going to keep eating this way. I feel amazing when I eat this way. And like I said, I think a lot of it is a preconception of what keto is for people, because people will say they're on a whole foods diet and they're eating meat and vegetables and salads, and that's what I eat too. But they think that my diet is unhealthy, and again, it's because of an assumption of what it is. So a lot of people will just say that they're on a low carb diet. Low carb, for some reason, is acceptable. Keto has a bad stigma on it, but for me, it's about cutting out the sugar. No matter what you want to call it, it's about cutting out the added, and for me, the natural sugars. I even have to limit the fruits and the vegetables and, things that will have natural sugars in it, because it'll change the way my body uses the fat for fuel. It'll start using the glucose for fuel. And I find that I don't run as efficiently as my body mechanism. It works better off of ketones right now.
Yeah.
Now, will that change as people are starting to tell me, as I start doing more fitness and weightlifting and things like that, that I may need to add more carbs in? And maybe I will, but right now I'm adding them in the form of extra vegetables.
Yeah.
It's more carbs.
And if it's working for you, you're losing weight.
It's working. I'm losing weight. I'm building muscle. I'm getting stronger.
Why change it?
Yeah. So right now I won't. Now, will I need to adapt how I do keto in another year? Maybe. May I one day go total carb instead of net carb? Maybe. But I plan on doing no sugar, or as little sugar as I can have in my diet for the rest of my life, probably. Because I think, again, everybody could benefit from a little bit less sugar in your life.
So I'm going to drop Michelle's. I'm looking I'm reading. I'm going to drop Misty's link in the comments down below. So if you want to connect with her, it would be great for her and her channel as well. So I'll do that in the comments as well as in the the description. So I'm not sure how to do it in here yet. So I'm still working on that stuff. So I don't know whether you can do that, Misty, or not. But Thomas is leaving. He actually lives in Las Vegas, and he does quite a bit of cooking. If you haven't, he has a channel over there. So
I'll come back to the chat and check out the people that I don't recognize. I think just him and Sherry. I've seen you in some of the other premieres.
Yeah, Sherry and I have crossed paths on a few different other people that we follow, and so again, you know, I don't know, but so what's some of the craziest questions people ask you about your diet and keto and low carb and losing weight and all that good stuff?
So yeah, I mean, some of the craziest questions that people ask again is about their so you just eat like butter with all your meals, you put butter in your drinks, you eat bacon all the time. No, I don't. I do use butter in my keto chow shakes, which you and I both appreciate. A keto chow shake, and that's my form of dairy that I use in that is the butter. So I do have butter from time to time when I have those shakes. And I do have bacon from time to time, but it's just, again, that misperception of, and it is foods that I eat. I do eat bacon. I do eat pork rinds. I do eat red meat. But I also eat fish and I also eat vegetables. And I saw Nikki ask which vegetables do I avoid. I avoid the starchy vegetables because they're higher in carbs. So things like corn, sweet potatoes, white potatoes, French fries, all those kind of things. Those are the types of vegetables that I used to love. If you asked me what my favorite vegetables were, I would have told you potatoes and corn. Who doesn't love potatoes and corn? They're delicious. Yeah. But now when I eat potatoes and corn, I don't feel as good as if I ate broccoli or Brussels sprouts or asparagus or... So I think, again, most of the crazy questions are just they don't really understand what the diet entails and how different it can be for different people.
Yeah, no, I agree. I grew up my family's from Maine, so it was potatoes, especially they're in northern Maine. So, they were potatoes. And every time we went up to my grandfather's farm, we got sacks and sacks of potatoes to bring them back to Connecticut for us. And
that'd be
new potatoes were the best,
back in the day, yeah.
But that's the way I grew up, and
yeah, I mean, you can boil them, you can mash them, you can fry them, you can bake them, yeah. I love potatoes too. Me and Nikki, I know Nikki's a potato lover too. Sorry, Nikki, cut the potatoes. They're not the best for you. Them starchy vegetables just, at least for me, they don't make my body run as efficiently.
But again, I'm a believer that everybody has something different. Weight Watchers works for you, do it, And
absolutely.
I know Nikki Gets Fit she's doing a high carb, low fat diet, and if it's working for her, great. But if it's not, time to think of something else. So, but
yeah, it's absolutely finding what works for you. And I don't think keto works for everybody, but I do think less sugar would be helpful for everyone. But again, that's just my opinion on that because I think sugar is bad. But like my mom, for instance, my mom can't do keto, but she eats a lot of the same foods because it's still just meat and vegetables. But, she'll have different things, that make it not necessarily keto. But there are people, like you said, who do Weight Watchers and who do super well on it. There are people who do high carb diets and their body thrives on that. Mine just doesn't.
Yeah. It's it hasn't for me either. So, I've done Weight Watchers and and I lost a ton of weight in Weight Watchers, but I gained it all back as soon as, because I thought of it as just, I ended in
diet.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is a lot of people think of keto as a diet. They don't think of it as a lifestyle of how you eat. But really, keto, first of all, keto is not a food. That's my biggest sort of irritation, is people will say, well, that's not a keto food. Keto's not a food. Keto is short for ketosis, which is a metabolic state that your body gets into by having super low carbs, where you start to burn ketones in your system instead of using glycogen for your energy. So that's sort of my biggest pet peeve, is when people say keto is a food. It's not. But even within that, there are certain foods that some people can eat on keto and some people can't, because like for you, it'll increase your inflammation. So it's not good for you or healthy for you to do that. Whereas someone else, it may not bother them as much.
Yeah. So Michelle just asked a question here
Sure.
about, can we talk about the difference between certain foods and how it reacts to the body, right? You know.
Yeah, I mean, for me right now, it's just, I notice when I eat sugar or when I have higher carbs, like if I have, pasta or, if I were to just have a straight up soda, which I haven't had in a long time, I don't even crave them or want them anymore. But I do have sugar free sodas from time to time. And of course, I have the bangs every day, which is sort of like a soda for me. But other foods, like I've cut out gluten, I've cut out dairy. There are foods that I limit, but it's more because of my autoimmune condition. Like eggplants, hard pass. They give me a flare of my skin condition every time. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Peppers, I have to limit. Potatoes really aren't good for me. They're called nightshade vegetables, and for
Right.
some reason, there's something in the nightshade vegetables that some people with certain autoimmune conditions, it's like a poison for us. So I have to limit those types of foods. So yes, to that point, Michelle, there are certain foods that I do limit. And luckily, some of them are also foods that wouldn't be good for keto, or luckily for me, I should say. But I've cut out dairy before, I've cut out gluten before, and I'll be honest, at the stage where I'm at right now, I can't really tell that any of that makes me feel better or worse. But I know for a lot of people it does.
Yeah. For me, when I eat sugars, I can almost feel it immediately. Probably in 15 or 20 minutes, I can feel it in my body, and I actually will start getting a headache from it, and I will not feel well, and
Mm-hmm.
and the next day is even worse. So,
Yeah.
um, if I eat a lot of keto foods that are high carbs, I can feel that it kicks me out of ketosis, which is okay, but it doesn't really affect me a whole lot, other than I feel very full. But some foods do, like I say, the soy. When I'm
Mm-hmm.
eating like the soy, I eat wheat germ and it's in a lot of because it's high fiber, so they put it in a lot of stuff
Yep.
because net carbs, right? And
Exactly, to lower
when I
that neck.
do, yeah. So when I eat that wheat gluten and stuff like that, said that stuff really affects me. I as you get older, you start getting a little bit of arthritis in your fingers and your shoulders, and since I've been doing this, a lot of that stuff has gone away from me. So it has made me be able to be more active and do more and feel better. So, but when I eat that kind of stuff, I can feel it the next day. It's in my back, my knees, my hands, all that stuff. So for me, the soys, the wheat germs, I'm trying to think some of the other foods that really affect me as far as, the sugars and trying to think some of the foods. I haven't found like the almond flour affects some people, has not affected me. So I use it a lot in my cooking. Some
Mm-hmm.
people have to use the coconut flour when they're cooking or making
Yeah, I've
meals.
seen that.
Uh,
Hmm. I don't
um,
have problems with almond flour either, but I have seen, and a lot of people are now using the lupin flour in
yeah,
place
I
of
actually
almond
have.
flour, which I haven't
Yeah.
tried yet.
Yeah, I have some, and I want to try it because I know Steve over at Serious Keto uses it quite a bit. It's
Hmm.
actually higher total carbs than almond flour, but it's all fiber, so therefore it's a much lower net carb than almond flour.
Oh,
So,
that's true. You're
uh,
still doing total carb. My brain
so
always does net carbs, so I forget that. But you are
well,
right. Well, and that's the thing, like with allulose too. I like allulose, but allulose is counted as a carb.
yeah.
Most things, like they have to tell you, okay, you can also take out the 4 grams of allulose, but the way the body reacts to it, it doesn't react to it like sugar. So it's that fine balance of what works and what doesn't work for you.
So we got
Angel,
Angel joined us and
hey Angel,
Sarah joined us. So we have a couple few more folks that have joined us. Um,
nice.
so welcome. I haven't been following the chat too much. Sorry. Right now they're just saying hi to everybody.
Well,
But
Maha's leaving. Bye, Maha. Go take care of them boys.
all right,
Feel better too.
Maha, we'll talk later.
She's been doing some PSMF recipes too.
Yeah,
That's
she
really
hasn't. She's been
weird.
doing really,
People
really
love
good.
when you do those. That's when your channel really started taking off, Alan. All of us, Alan and I were like, we were kind of like this, and then Alan went, "Whoop!"
Well,
You're like over 2,000 now, aren't you?
yeah, a little. I just hit 2,000 the other day. So
Yeah,
yeah.
congrats, man. That's
Um,
awesome. I think it's super cool.
what happened was actually, so Janet Greta, for me anyway, she actually said a couple of times she like gave a shout out to my channel, and it was like, and she has
Okay.
like 6,000 followers. So when she did
Yeah.
it was like I got 100 followers like the next day,
Oh, wow.
you know. And then she did it again, and I got another 100, you know, and it was like wow, you know. And then it just kind of took off, and it was
Yeah.
really, you know. I
Well,
said
and
it's
then they
interesting
stay
because
for the content. Alan
yeah.
makes good recipes. I know y'all know him
So
because you're on his channel right now. But if you haven't watched him, he makes some good recipes.
well, I'm trying to. I've learned to, if I want to maintain, I have to find substitutes for the things I like.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah.
right. So
Yep.
I love pizza. Pizza is one of my favorite foods.
Ooh,
So
I love
therefore, you know, I have to learn how to make, you know, keto pizza. So the chicken crusted pizza is probably one of our favorite that we make because it's
yeah.
super low carbs and you know it's just chicken, right?
Yeah.
Chicken and cheese, basically, and then we don't put any sauce on it. And that was something my wife didn't want to do. She said, "Don't put any sauce on it." So it's okay with
Hmm.
me because when I don't put the sauce on it, it cuts out even more carbs,
Yeah.
right?
True.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't miss it. So when we have the pizza, so it's kind of interesting. But um,
I'm not.
and other things too. So I'm spaghetti. I use the miracle noodles, or I use the heart of palms.
Uh-huh.
So pastas and stuff like that.
Yeah,
My
pasta
wife,
was one thing I was so sure that I was gonna miss, like so much, and I just haven't. I don't even
yeah,
really use alternatives. I have had an alternative. My mom, there's a healthy noodle from Costco. It was good.
yeah,
I
those are
did
Palm
enjoy it.
heart noodles.
Oh, yeah, well, I enjoyed it. They were actually quite delicious. I have to say, I would definitely have them again. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's not anything that there were
yeah,
foods again that I thought I would miss more that I don't, and pasta was one of them. I still miss garlic bread though, but now I can make
hey,
alternatives. But
Gavin's joined us from the UK.
Smithy, hey Gavin,
So uh,
I love Smithy
yeah,
Smith.
it's kind of interesting. So talk a little bit about fitness and stuff like that, because I know you talked quite a bit about with Christian on her channel the other day. So
Mm-hmm.
you know that whole journey with that, and how's that going, and you know,
It's
kind of your
going
routine, and
Yeah, it's going great. So I started again. I had no plans of starting fitness. There was not going to be any fitness. Your Pal Misty was just going to lose some weight because I wanted to feel better and be able to do just more things like walking, and that was it. I just kind of wanted to be able to not be tired all the time when it came to the fitness. And on April the 1st, I started training for my first 5K, and I didn't do that 5K till the end of May. So it was like an 8-week training period. And I remembered something Angel said with Healthful Choices, who has done marathons and walked 50 miles in a day, right? But she said she started with 1 mile. She just went for a walk. And then she just kept increasing it from there. And so that's what I did at first, was I just trained for that 5K. I ended up doing an ab uh, sort of challenge, an abdominal core challenge with Val at Home Workout Health Hub. Then I did Gavin Smithy's Fitness 21-day beginner. And that really got me excited about it because the abs, no offense to Val, I love Val at Home Workout Health Hub, but I still don't love abs. Core is hard. And it's still not my favorite, just to be honest. But I did his and I got really excited. And then it was actually Jessica Estrada, who I haven't seen online in a while, but a channel that I used to follow, was like, I'm going to do Kirsten Quick Fit. I was like, I have no idea who that is. Let me go check it out. And she was doing an arms challenge. And I ended up hurting myself, to be honest, during that challenge and couldn't finish it. And then was like, this is unacceptable. You have to be able to
yeah,
finish this challenge. So I let myself rest, recover, and then picked up that challenge again and finished it. And then just strength training has made me feel so much different. To today, I was on Kirsten's live stream and she was stretching before a 5K. And like I said, I was like, well, let me just go walk a 5K. So I didn't have to prepare 2 months for it. I decided in about 5 minutes time that I'm just going to go do it today. And I think I may just do a 5K every month for the rest of the year, at least one. Why not? I did one in January that I didn't train for. I did one today
Yeah.
that I wasn't even really planning on. And it's changed my mental outlook on life. It's changed the way I approach things. So the fitness for me is game changer. Even I can't say more than the weight, but it's definitely going to help with the weight as I continue on.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of, to me, I'm going to be honest with you. So to me, the diet or the way you eat is probably 60 or 70% of your health. And then the other 20%, there's another 20% that's probably the working out and all that stuff. And then there's a big 10% there that's sleep and and stuff. So that's part of the issue I struggle with is the sleep. So I'm not sure if you have that issue or not. Or,
Well, according to my fitness tracker, I do. So I always joke. I'm a part of a Discord where we sort of support each other as we go through the day and things like that. And I always joke that they get tired of me because I'm always posting. But I also say, and please ignore my sleep score because it'll be like 39 out of 100. It'll be like
oh,
poor, fair. It'll be like you should consider taking it easy today based on your sleep. I'm like, nobody's got time for that fitness tracker. We've got stuff to do. So I'm in bed for 8 hours and I feel like I'm sleeping better now. But yeah, the sleep is always a struggle for me. I it just never feels like I get enough. But I don't feel like I need as much as I used to. I used to stay in bed for 12 to 16 hours a day some days because I just didn't have the energy to get out of bed.
yeah,
Now it's hard for me to stay in bed for 8 hours because I got stuff I want to do.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's my life has just been really crazy lately. So just between work and what's going on, and um,
Yeah.
I got a bunch of stuff that I'm trying to do for the channel. Actually, I'm trying to work on a website and trying to do that, which I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm totally lost. So I'm trying to learn how to do better editing on my videos, which so it's all this stuff takes up time, and it's just, and I'm also trying to make sure that I don't take time away from my wife because she's so nice about letting me to do this, and
Yeah.
it is pretty time consuming.
It is.
Um, so on
Especially
my
for all the work
weekend,
you put into yours. Yeah.
yeah, so on my weekends, it's kind of my wife and I's time, and we try to spend the majority of our time, you know, and not worry about YouTube and social
Mhm.
media. And I post on a little bit, but I try to be conscious about it, right? So
Yeah, I mean, family first. That's what I always say to everybody.
yeah,
When, no matter what's happening, family first. And then, I mean, y'all are my family too, but, there are times
yeah,
you're with people, physical
yeah.
people, and you need to make sure that you give them the time and respect that they need to. So, and your
So,
wife is lovely. So,
yeah. So Lexi's here, Sharon's here.
oh, Sharon's here.
Of course,
I saw you come in, Lexi. Hey, thanks for coming, Lexi. And thanks for
I
coming,
know
Sharon.
Val had a live stream going on too, so at the same time.
I know
So,
I felt so bad, Alan, because she'd been
but
doing the Saturday workouts, but then this week she's doing Tasharia, and Tasharia takes off on Saturday. So I'm gonna go. I'll probably listen to her and
yeah,
live stream on my way to Louisiana after this one. I'm sure it's a good one.
yeah.
It's about that
All right.
mental aspect of it, right? And that's what a lot of people struggle with is the mental aspect of it. And that's again why seeing people like you who have done it and sustained it for so long is mentally good for me to see. So I
Yeah,
appreciate channels like you who continue to do it and continue to live it every day and change it up and find what works for you. Like you said, you're going to try to add even more fitness in, get even more strength training in, which
yeah,
is my jam right now. I love it. Especially
yeah,
I'm starting to learn how it helps everything else. Um, so I'm glad to
yeah.
see
I'm
that.
kind of how do you say the start of this year was not good for me. So with what went on, and it kind of really has set me back. So I got some. I said it will take me 6 months to get back to where I was prior
Man, I mean, the
to getting
virus
there.
is no
But
joke, Alan. So just,
yeah,
I mean, take it easy. You'll get back to where you
well,
were.
I'm
It's
pretty. I think I'm pretty close to it. I'm just got a little bit gun shy, and so now I'm just working out in the house, and I'm doing Sharon and Kristen's and
Yep.
Val's and Smitty's
Yep.
workouts and stuff right now, and I'm good
That's
with
what
that.
I
So,
do.
and but eventually I would like to get back in the gym and start lifting again and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
again,
it was weird. Today I went to the gym because I do have a gym membership and I do go from time to time just to make the monthly fee worth it. But I normally just do a treadmill or something. I haven't been doing weights. But as I even am learning more and wanting to get stronger, I have thought about going back to the gym. And it was a little bit different being there today. I felt more like it was a nice place to be, whereas I
yeah,
sort of had a mental block on it where I liked the gym, but it was just hard for me to be there. And today it felt really fun to be at the gym and watching other people working out. And so we may start doing that a little bit more.
yeah, yeah. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoy the lifting, and
Yeah,
the only
something
thing
I've
is that
never done. I don't know anything about it, but I'm, willing to learn and try new things. And so
yeah,
I'm excited for March. I know Sharon's doing stronger at any age. And, I'm younger than you are, but I'm 46. So still, a bit up there compared to other people who watch the channel. And at any age you can do it. And I'm starting now. And so I'm learning, I'm hoping to get stronger. And I think at some point it'll come to more,
yeah.
even going to the gym maybe from time to time. And I look
Yeah.
forward to it. It's
I said I'm not going to go into old age quietly. I'm going to go in fighting every inch of it.
good, right? I
Right.
mean, I wasn't like that in the past, but now, yeah, I want to enjoy every minute. I want to go into it loud and proud and
Yeah.
strong and, happy and excited to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you ever, and I know because I get this question all the time, do you ever measure your blood sugar or your ketone levels or any of that stuff? Or
Yeah, I
yeah,
never have. I don't like to prick my finger. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't mind needles. I just don't like pricking my finger. And even though I think it's a benefit for some people, and I will say for that first month that I started, for at least the first maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I used the ketone urine strips. But I
yeah,
wouldn't recommend them because they're good at first, I think, to show you that you're in ketosis. But once your body gets fat adapted, the urinalysis strips don't work anymore. And so there are a lot of people who do ketone tests, and I do find it very interesting. And one thing that I've noticed is everybody's different, even on the ketone test. One person can eat it, and another person can eat the same thing and have different results. So I think for a lot of people on keto, especially for the people who are doing it that are like type 2 diabetic, it's very important that they monitor their sugar and keep that in check. And for a lot
yeah,
of people, keto helps them do that. I don't have any of those type of underlying health issues. Like I said, I'm off of all my medications that I was on now since, starting. So I have never done it, but I do
yeah,
find it interesting. And again, maybe as I get, farther along on my journey, that's something that I do have to do to make sure that I'm, staying in the right levels and keeping that insulin level low and at a level balance. Because I think that's it's the hormones in the foods and the types of foods that you eat that can play, havoc on your system sometimes.
yeah, yeah. It's true. And I've never, I've never done it either. People ask me all the time, "Have you done it?" And it's something that I don't feel that I really need to know. I mean, I guess it's you know, um, if you're losing weight and you feel good, what's the sense? Why are you just kind of a waste of money? And um, have you ever taken like any of the ketone
I
supplements or anything?
Yeah, I did when I first started. Like after the first month, I took some ketone supplements, and to be honest, I just really couldn't tell a
Yeah,
difference. I feel like I
yeah,
was already in ketosis, so the extra
yeah,
ketones are just wasted.
yeah,
I've heard of people using them to get themselves through like a heavy carb day, but I don't have those very often anymore. So yeah,
yeah,
I don't use any supplements like that. I mean, the Bang has some things in it. It has like BCAAs and CoQ10, but I have one a day, you know. I don't.
Yeah.
People have asked me recently too if I've started using pre-workout. No, I haven't. Maybe one day, but right now I don't feel like I need it. I feel like I'm ready to work out almost all the time.
Yeah.
I don't need anything to enhance that yet. And again, maybe one day, but no,
Yeah. Yeah.
not
It's
since the
kind of,
very beginning. And I
yeah.
did it, and I think it's more of a moneymaker than
Yeah.
in
I
my,
think it's a waste of money for somebody
yeah,
to go buy 'em. So
I do too.
my advice
Yeah,
to you, anybody when they ask me that is just, don't
I
buy
say
them.
skip it. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
need them. You don't need
There's
them.
so
You
many
need to
other,
eat the food that'll get you there.
yeah. Oh, you take electrolytes at all?
Do take electrolytes. Now, electrolytes I highly believe in, especially on a keto diet, because one thing that I have found is that you flush a lot of your sodium. And I never ate salt. My dad has a kidney disease. And so growing up, my mom just never put salt on food. She put salt on her food secretly, like after she would serve us. But we ate the same food my dad ate. And so we never salted anything. And the things that we grew up salting were things like fruit, watermelon, and things like that that we would see my mom salt. So I never really grew up with salt. And I've actually found since I've started keto, I now keep salt in my house, which is something I know it sounds weird to most people, but I never had salt in my house because I never added it. And now I find that I have to add it. And if I'm feeling lethargic, like some days I wake up and I'm just not feeling that great, or I'll be in the middle of the day and I kind of start to get a headache, I'll drink some electrolytes. It's like it just replenishes my system.
Yeah.
I strongly urge the use of electrolytes, especially for people who are just starting a lower sugar diet. You're gonna be in the restroom a lot and you're gonna be flushing out a lot, and you need those electrolytes to keep your body in balance. I drink them every day, at least once.
Yeah. Yeah. What other supplements you take? So I do too. I use that Perfect Keto, the
I do
electrolytes
too.
from Perfect Keto.
Yeah, I have the black cherry, and I'm about to start my watermelon one. I haven't tried
Yeah.
that one yet,
No,
but
I haven't tried the watermelon one yet. So
yeah, I haven't
they're
tried
actually
it
having a
yet.
big,
But the black
yeah.
cherry is my favorite one that Perfect Keto has. I wait until they go on sale because they are a bit expensive. So I think I
Yeah.
bought like four jars of them
Yeah.
when they had their big sale. But the other supplements I take, I'm trying, Alan, to remember to take collagen. I'm not the best at it, but I do believe there are a lot of benefits to the collagen, especially as we age, for the bones, for your hair, your skin, all of those types of things. I know my aunt has started taking collagen. She's not on keto or anything, but she's just started taking it, and her bone density scans like increased dramatically, even just over the course of a few months. And she's in her early 70s, so I definitely think collagen is important. I've been tracking it and not doing really well, so I do try to. It's a Perfect Keto again, a Perfect Keto collagen.
Yeah.
I like their product, so I wait for it to go on sale.
Yeah.
I take magnesium, zinc, B12, a liquid B12. I take potassium sometimes, depending. I like a lot of pickled vegetables and foods, so I don't always need that extra potassium because I'll get that in some of those types of foods. But that's it for the most part. The vitamin B, the magnesium, potassium, zinc. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think. Oh, vitamin D. I have been taking vitamin D, especially in the winter, and I can't. I don't know if it's been helping with the seasonal depression or not, or if it's more of the exercise that's been doing that. It's been a pretty easy winter for me comparatively.
Yeah. So Michelle was just asking about have we ever scanned supplements in the Carb Manager, and I know I have,
I don't
because
know.
I do just because I have found that some of the supplements have carbs.
Oh,
So
now that I track, yeah, I do look at the carbs in the supplements that I buy. And you
yeah.
are
So
correct; they will hide carbs in there.
yeah. So again, you have to be careful when you're looking at them because of the ingredients of them, and some of the supplements are not the best. So like even magnesium, there's several different types of magnesium out there.
There are.
So, look at what you're using it for and which ones you want to, why you want to take it. I'd take a magnesium glycinate just because it's gentle on my stomach. It absorbs into the body well. It's not, I don't know whether it's the best one out there, but it's I found it works well for me.
I don't remember which kind to take. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So
they're right there. I could go to. I've done a video on it, so I put it in the video, and I put sort of why I take those supplements.
Yeah.
I think magnesium's a big one for a lot of people, and they say it's supposed to help you sleep. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it does or not.
Yeah. Well, it helps you regulate your bowel movements as well, right?
That it does do. Yes, that I will say. I can tell a difference if I'm off of my supplements. Then I have to start taking fiber.
Yeah, I did start taking K2 this year as well, and that's more for the cholesterol buildup in your bloodstream, especially as you get older, right? So, so the KT keeps everything flowing. It also acts like I guess it's part of it allows the calcium to get absorbed into the bones and into the blood cells versus just floating around in your body. So
yeah, I've heard it goes very
that.
well. Yeah, I've heard it goes well with vitamin D too. Cheryl Davis that she takes a K2.
Yeah, they work hand in hand.
Yeah, interesting. I don't take that currently, but it is something that I have recently found out from you and Cheryl. I may look into adding that into my. I'm really bad at the supplements. That's the thing. I say I take them. I maybe remember the collagen like 3 times a week. I need to pack it to go to my mom's. Actually, I'm glad we brought it up. I should pack some collagen from my mama's house to take it there, and my supplements. I'm just really bad at taking them. I forget. That's the truth.
Yeah, and collagen I do take. I throw some collagen in my coffee every morning.
And see, that's the thing. It's so many coffee drinkers just love the collagen in the coffee. Say it changes the texture of it. It makes it this thick, rich, creamy. I don't like coffee, so I just drink it with like some almond milk or some water, and it's just another drink that I'm having. So I think that's part of the struggle with the collagen for me. So I got some that was flavored from Perfect Keto. I got their peanut butter and their cinnamon toast. So I'm hoping a flavored collagen will make it more of a fun drink for me to have and will help me implement it better.
Yeah, that's a kind of. I also take a probiotic because
I do take a probiotic. I just started that actually based off of different people's recommendation for it.
And that has helped me a lot too as well. But one of the things is because if you're eating artificial sweeteners like the xylitol or your the monk fruit or anything else, it does throw off the digestion in your stomach, or so they say. So I started taking the probiotic to help with that a little bit. So I'm not sure if anybody else is taking one or.
Just at the beginning of February, it kind of actually sort of was weird for my stomach for like the first week and a half, 2 weeks, but now it's regulated out, and I can't tell that it's helping, but it's definitely not making me any worse. But I did hear a lot of people do that. So it's Culturella, I think is the brand that I got.
Okay. Yeah, it's supposed to help your digest the food better, so you get the more nutrition out of the food versus just passing it through you, right? So so that I started doing that a while ago. The other thing that I just ordered it and I haven't started taking it yet is iodine. So I've been hearing a lot of stories about iodine, and people take it for their thyroid. But I was Dr. Ken Berry was talking about it on his channel a couple of times about how we need it and we're not taking it, and like 80% of the population is deficient because the soil is so depleted in nutrients, and most of it comes from the ocean, and we're not eating a lot of kelp and seaweed.
Yeah, that's the thing. I eat seaweed probably like at least once or twice a week. Just those little seaweed packets that you can get from Costco. I pick some up every time I go visit my mom. I love seaweed. I'm a seaweed fan, and literally I'll eat like a pack or two. It's like 100 calories for the whole pack of seaweed. But yeah, it's really good in iodine. Now, I don't know that that's enough, or that what I'm eating is, meeting the supplemental intake that they suggest for iodine. I think that's interesting. I may have to look into that. I just like seaweed as a nice snack.
But supposedly it has a ton of iodine in it, so it keeps your thyroid healthy and which controls all the hormones in your body.
Yeah, I'm not on my thyroid medication anymore. Maybe that does have a play in it as well. I don't
Yeah.
actually know, but I really do like seaweed. I honestly, it's sort of like a secret. I've posted it once or twice, but I probably have 1 or 2 packs of seaweed.
Yeah. Well, supposedly it levels your moods out and everything else too. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how. Cause now Michelle was talking about she just listed out a bunch of stuff that she's taking um, as well. So which I found beef gelatin. She has beef gelatin on her list. Just kind of curious as to beef gelatin. I cook with it because I put it in some of my cooking. I make chocolate chip cookies, Keto Connect cookies, and they use the beef gelatin, and they actually come out much better. But I've never actually. I'm interested in Michelle. What do you use it in, and how do you use the beef gelatin? Because I like to say I cook with it, but that's about it. And I saw. I was watching a net on Ketogenic Woman, and she was making keto chow pudding, and she was using the beef gelatin as the gelling agent in the keto chow pudding, which I thought was really interesting.
I don't know that I've ever used any type of gelatin for anything, to be honest. I did for a while take a liver supplement, but I didn't find that I couldn't find any benefit in it, so I had kind of stopped taking it. But I know they say organ meat is good for you, and I like liver. I do like it. I just don't eat it very often because I don't cook it myself.
Yeah.
Right. Bone broth or beef gelatin daily, she says.
So the bone broth, I'm assuming that you're using it in something that you're making as well. I'm not. I mean, I use bone broth when I cook. Like my wife uses it when she makes soup or something like that, or she'll use chicken broth. Like I say, beef gelatin I put it in, and I've thought about putting it in the keto chow because I really want to make that because I want to, instead of making ice cream or a shake, I thought the pudding would be cool and easy to take to work and eat at work. So she's using the butter and the beef gelatin just to kind of solidify it a little bit so it has that pudding texture into her keto chow. And
interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of a different concept, but I thought it was pretty cool. So I don't know if you're in a rush or anything to go off to your vacation.
I'm not in a huge rush. We can certainly stay and talk for a bit longer. Yeah, okay. I mean, I do want to get to my mom's because it's already in the afternoon for me, at least. But no, we can hang out a little bit longer.
All right,
I'm ready to go. So I figured we'd probably talk an hour and a half or so. So yeah.
So how do your family feel about this whole keto journey and weight loss and?
Yeah, I mean they love it. My family's very supportive. I'll go visit my mom, and my stepdad is actually also doing keto. He's been doing keto for the last several months. He's dropped a ton of weight as well, feeling really good, in how he eats. So when I go there, me and he will eat keto, and my mom will eat, whatever she eats. She eats a lot of whole food, plant-based diet kind of thing too. Yeah, everybody's just really, I think for the most part, my family is just really happy to see me thriving in whatever form that takes. And so, of course, they want to know about keto. You see someone who's lost 100 pounds, and normally the initial reaction is, how did you do it? How can I do it? Okay, well, it's different for everybody, and it's not just about the food. It is a big portion of that for me. But like you said, you've seen people with great success on Weight Watchers who can then keep it off. And then you've seen people who do Weight Watchers and then they gain it all back, right? It's a big part of that mental mindset that you're ready to go. So I can tell you how I lost the weight, but it's not going to work for you. You have to find out the way that works for you. But yeah, they're super supportive. Like when we went on our family vacation, there were just foods that I didn't eat. There were choices that were presented to me. Most people are kind and they're like, can you eat this? They'll think of that. But if I'm ever worried about anything like that, I normally eat before I go, or I'm not afraid to take my own treat that will be good for me and that other people would also enjoy and, have those. So they're very supportive, and it certainly helps. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just me, so I know a
Yeah.
lot of people struggle with it because they have a spouse who doesn't have a weight problem, or a spouse who just doesn't care about their weight problem, whatever it is, right? Whatever the story is. And then you're balancing that way that you eat together. Whereas for me, it's just me, so it's a little bit easier. But even when I do go visit family, they're very supporting and accommodating to what's going to make me feel good, because they don't want me to come visit and then not feel good. It's like
Yeah.
you go on vacation and part of your brain is like, oh, I can eat all the bad foods because I'm on vacation. And do you know what happens when you eat all of the foods that don't make you feel good? You don't feel good, and then your
Yeah.
vacation's no fun.
Yeah.
So I would
That's
rather
true.
I'd rather have a steak and some Brussels sprouts versus a hot dog, because it's going to
Yeah.
make me feel better. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't I eat foods that make me feel better? And I think a lot of people are coming around to that, but there's such a social stigma, especially when you're celebrating. There's food. There's always food.
Yeah.
It's like it's a birthday party, everybody. There's going to be cake. Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be that way. It's
Yeah.
like you can do other things. You can change, but
Yeah.
it can be
Yeah.
tricky.
Yeah. Well, you can find a keto cake too. And I don't know how some of them don't
Yeah,
taste so good. Some don't. Some are pretty good. So,
my mom made me a mug cake for my birthday. So she made me a
yeah.
keto mug cake. It was
Oh, that's great.
delicious. It was peanut butter chocolate with like almond flour and an egg. It was great. It was delicious.
Wow.
And it made me feel good instead of
Yeah.
bad the next day.
Yeah. You have anybody ever try to sabotage you or try to, I think I would.
Again, it's just me. So nobody's tried to
Yeah.
sabotage me, or I mean, I have friends who don't talk to me as much because the thing that every time people see me, they're like, oh, I've gained all the weight that you've lost. Like that's always the joke,
Yeah.
right? Well, you lost it
Yeah.
all, I gained it all. I was like, well, you can lose it all again too. If you can gain it all, you can lose it all. You can do it, right? And so I have people that don't interact as much. And I think that's more of a them thing than a me thing. I don't think, sometimes
Yeah.
people don't want to see you succeed. And okay, you don't have to watch. I'm still going to do it anyway. But
Yeah.
no specific sabotage or anything.
Yeah. I get this. Keto Mama Michelle was talking about, you get this when they're going out for work and they're
Yeah.
saying, hey, can we get you something? Can you eat? What can you eat? Is there anything in this restaurant that you can eat?
Yeah, there's always food we can eat.
Yeah. But then they'll get you something and they'll say, well, here's something. We got you something. And they'll, it's something that they know that you wouldn't eat. Right. So I do get that a lot. So,
yeah.
people,
And like I work from home, so I don't have to go on site to see what
Yeah.
other people are eating. So, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's really good. But to be honest, temptation and food doesn't get me I can easily pass
Yeah.
up food.
Yeah.
Now I can easily pass it up and just be like, nah, I don't want that.
And I see some people, I hate to say this, but I see some people that are a little bit jealous, I guess I would say that.
They are.
Because you're being successful and they're not. Like you said, that they're saying, oh, I gained all the weight that you lost.
Yeah.
And they want you to fail because it makes them feel better.
Yeah, and it's weird. That does not work for me, but you're not wrong. There are people who are watching to watch me fail.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Keep watching, because that's not going to happen. And then maybe that'll help motivate you to also know that you can do it too and not fail. And I think it comes from that place of a lot of us have done it before and failed. I've done it before and failed. And so you have that self-doubt when you start of, is this going to be like every other time that I've started? It feels really good, but maybe it's not, or whatever. And there was just something this time when I did it where this is it. We're done. We're never going back. But yeah, people don't sometimes want to see you succeed, or they just don't see that as something that they can do themselves. And so that's why I like putting it out there and like seeing people in maintenance to show that it can be done.
How do you feel about what do you do with the situations like you're going to Mardi Gras and you know that Mardi Gras is going to be a lot of fun and there's going to be a lot of alcohol around?
Yeah.
At least it would be for me.
Yeah, there there will be for me too. I'm going to be on vacation mode. I actually, and I didn't even really announce it on my channel, but I did dry February. So I haven't had a single drink of alcohol all month long. So I'm really going to have to be mindful of Mardi Gras and how much I do drink, because on keto, the alcohol will hit your system a lot differently than if you have a bunch of carbs in your system. And I found that out for my birthday when I evidently was running and I didn't exactly remember doing that. I thought I was moving kind of fast, but so yeah, I'll definitely take it easy. But while I'm there, will I have higher carb foods? I intend to allow myself to do that. We were kind of talking before we started that one big thing in Louisiana is the rice. Everything comes with rice. They have rice dressing, they have jambalaya, they have gumbo. All of those things are delicious, but they're heavier carbs. So may I have some of that while I'm there? I might not. I don't really know. It'll really depend on how I feel once I get there, and what's offered and what I think about it. So I'll make the decisions that feel good for me then. I'm being open to it because it is, again, a vacation, but I also want to feel good while I'm there because I'm on vacation. So I don't want to eat crap and feel bad for a day when I could have made a decision that would have made me feel better. So yeah, there will be drinking, there will be throwing the beads, there will be a lot of hollering. I'm super excited about it. Throw me something, mister. It'll be,
I know we
fun.
partake in wine every once in a while, and a few drinks here and there, but not very often. I do find that if I'm doing it a lot, it will definitely stall my weight loss, even though that they're low carb drinks. They will stall my weight loss.
And I think alcohol stalls our weight loss because it first has to use the alcohol first. And so you're not burning your fat anymore like you're normally doing. So it takes so much longer to burn off all the alcohol before you can get back to your fat burning that, it'll definitely stall you out if you do it too much. And just again, do you want to feel good the next morning, right? And sometimes if you have too much, I don't feel good the next morning.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll be
like you said,
parades at like 3:00, so I'll probably be have a drink or two in the afternoon, and then but I want to feel good for the evening too. So it's all a balance of what's going to make me feel best and enjoy because I don't want to feel deprived. Nobody wants to feel deprived. No. If I want to have it, I'm going to have it. But it's something that Mitch and Carlin, their channel, Carlin had said she likes to view herself as a healthy person and think, what would a healthy person do? And sometimes the healthy person would have the drink, or they'd have the jambalaya, or, whatever it is. That's what a healthy person would do. They'd give themselves grace to do that.
Yeah.
But I also want to feel good. So I'll let y'all know how it goes. There will be video. There will be video, I'm sure, because I feel good enough to do video. So
I know I've learned because like you had said, alcohol affects you a lot differently when you're doing keto than it does when you're not. So when I go out to a restaurant, I don't drink when I go to a restaurant because it's really easy. 1 or 2 glasses of wine and I got a really good buzz on. I should not be behind the wheel of a car.
That's absolutely true, and something that I did not realize at the time. I mean, I was drinking with my family, which is what we do every year. And at some point, it was probably like 2:00 in the morning by that time, though, my mom got real up in my face and was like, this alcohol is affecting you in a way which you do not understand. And you need to rethink where you are right now and what you're doing. And I took my little drink and I was like, whoop, I did not pick it up. I was like, okay, everybody, I'm done. Mama says I'm done. Because he could see it in me. And I mean, I wasn't like, I remember all of it, but like my perception was definitely off because like I said, she said I was running and I remember thinking, man, I'm moving so slow. I need to move faster, not realizing that faster was running. So it can change your perception and you definitely do have to be careful.
Yeah.
And stay hydrated, all that kind of good stuff. So even with that, it's a balance of how good will it make me feel versus what do I want to feel like later today or later tomorrow. And I'm okay with a drink every now and then. I did the dry February because it had gotten to be after my stepsister passed where I was having a drink or two every day just to relax. And
Yeah.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with having a drink or two every day just to relax, if that helps you. But for me, it became a necessity. And that I didn't like. I shouldn't feel like I need it.
Yeah.
If I want it, that's fine. That's different for me, right? So I needed to prove to myself that I didn't need it. And the first few days were kind of a struggle, but now I'm fine. So I will have drinks when I'm in Louisiana, because that's what I do on vacation. And normally, and that was the thing. I normally don't drink at my home. I normally drink when I go places, and I was drinking at my home, and so that had to stop. And it did. And so now I'm
excited. I know. I used to. I did a job for a while where I was traveling a lot, and one of the guys I used to travel with all the time, the first thing he'd do is he'd find a place to go buy a bunch of drinks so that he could drink at night, because he said it helped him sleep. And I'm thinking to myself, geez, if you do this every night, it becomes a habit, and it's not probably a good habit to get into. So.
Yeah, and it's just unnecessary calories, to be honest, at the end of the day. For me, I just didn't need them. I just needed to find a different way to relax. And so now I've been working out more. I don't know that it's necessarily relaxing, but at the end of the day, it makes me feel more calm, well-rounded, and relaxed if I exercise. So instead of having 2 drinks in the evening after work, I do a workout. And I'm happy about it. And I think it's a great plan. And it's been working out really well for me this month.
Much better option.
I think so. You know, healthy choices. They come when you're least expecting it.
Yeah. I said they're in the chat, and they're all talking about these low carb drinks that are coming out, like the Bud Next. There's a ton of them that are coming out now, and
there are a lot of low carb drinks. The low carb seltzers are super popular. I do not like seltzer water, but I did find that they had a Bang version with no caffeine in it, but it was like it was delicious. They taste just like the Bang energy drinks, except for there's alcohol in them and there's no caffeine.
I think I bought a 6-pack of the seltzer, and I didn't like it. So actually, when we only drank like 1 or 2 of them, and my wife said, "Oh, let's get some flavoring or something to put in them, because they don't. The flavoring is terrible."
Yeah.
So we bought some of the sweetener to put in, and we haven't drank them since then. So.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was putting monk fruit in mine to make it a little bit sweeter, and then that kind of brought out the flavor. Normally, I'm going to be honest though, it's whiskey or vodka for me. I have a drink or 2.
Michelle's from Keto Mama was saying that the seltzer makes her got a better hangover, or worse hangover, I should say. I don't drink enough of them to have that issue.
I can't drink enough of them because I just don't think they're very
good.
I've never been a beer drinker though either. Like I've never drank enough beer to be drunk. I've drank plenty enough to be drunk, but not off of beer. I just don't like it, and it's kind of the same with the seltzer.
Yeah. So what do you think you're going to be in? So what do you think you're going to be in a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 5 years from now? And
have
you thought about that? Or
I have thought about it a little bit, and I would like to. So I'm growing my knowledge right now. I'm still learning, and I like to learn. And I know the big joke right now, Kirsten keeps saying it, is that I'm going to be a coach someday. That's never even been brought into my mind. Everybody else keeps saying that I would be a good coach. And maybe someday. I'm not going to say never to that. I am interested to have the knowledge behind that, though. I'd be the type of person who would get the certification, not use it for anybody else, but just use it for myself. So especially over the next year, I feel like I'm in a place now. It's mostly I have the food down. I know what works for me right now. Again, I may need to change it at some point in the future, but right now it works for me. So why change what makes me feel good and works for me? But the fitness is really new, and that's something that I really want to improve within myself. I want to get stronger. I want to get faster. I want to get leaner. So, yeah, I think there will be weight loss. I anticipate, lifting heavier weights, maybe even going back into the gym and lifting there. So a lot of my focus this year is on getting stronger. And I know that in getting stronger, the weight loss will continue. So I do have a goal for the end of the year to be in Wonderland, right? The under 200 pound mark. Do I think I'll do it by the end of the year? Absolutely. I'm only about 10 or 12 pounds away right now. So I'm hopeful that I can hit that goal by July. which is my birthday, July the 18th. So I'm hoping to be down the next 10 or 12 pounds in the next, 4 to 5 months. And I think that's definitely doable. It's a pound or two a month on average, which, I should be able to sustain that type of weight loss. But if I don't, am I going to feel bad about it? No, because again, the number on the scale is not as important to me as how I feel about it, but just historically and how my body works and the weight loss that I have, I anticipate being under that 200-pound mark within the next year, and then just seeing really where the fitness goes from there. I plan on traveling more because I can do more. I want to do more things because now I can, and I have the energy to do it. The world is not exactly in a place where we can do all of the things that, it's still a little tricky, but as it goes in the next few years, I anticipate a lot more travel for myself is something that I'm really looking forward to, meeting several of y'all at some point. Hopefully we keep joking about it, but I really do. There's a lot of y'all that I'd love to meet and hang out with, and it gives me a reason to go do it. Right.
Yeah. So you think you're going to make it to the Philippines this year?
I don't know that I'll get to go this year, but work is still saying that I may get to go at some point. We're still having travel bans at work. So,
yeah. You know what region what region would you visit when you were in when you
they're
go?
in Manila.
Okay. Well, that's
near Manila.
where my wife's family is.
Okay. Yeah, that's where the site that I would visit, that's where they would be.
Yeah.
I
It'd be funny place to meet you, right?
Yeah, right. Hey, let's take a trip to the Philippines. I was so excited to go. I really was. I was very disappointed when everything shut down and I ended up not getting to go, but I still may get to go for work. And if not, I may just still go because that was a big reason why I started this journey, was to feel better for when I traveled. And so that's why that's something that I want to be doing in the future, is traveling, because it was part of the reason, the why I started. It was more work related why. But then I just started feeling good. My mental health got better. My physical health got better. And now I'm just going to keep doing it. So I anticipate doing a keto, low carb, total carb. I don't know where I'll be in 3 to 5 years, but I anticipate eating this same way because it makes me feel better. Could that change? Possibly. You'll have to follow along to see, because I don't know. But yeah, I definitely plan on doing a lot in fitness over the next couple of years because I think it's very important and something that I never really considered before. And I like talking about it, and I like getting other people to at least think about it.
Yeah.
That was a long answer, wasn't it? To say I don't really know.
No. Yeah. No, that's great. I traveled for a living for a while, and it was a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of great places and stuff, but it's also gets very tiring and very.
It was very tiring. I made that trip to Rockford, Illinois. I had gone to Minnesota for a business. I had gone to North Carolina, to Greensboro, beautiful area, Greensboro. So yeah, I was starting to travel, and it was exhausting. It was no fun. I was tired. I felt like I wasn't even doing well at the meetings that I was attending. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to travel and have fun and do things instead of being so tired when you get there you have to take a nap. Because I would get to the hotel and take a nap.
Yeah.
And then go out and have dinner with whoever I was meeting, and then have our meeting the next day is normally how it would go. So yeah, I anticipate more travel coming up in the next few years as I feel better.
Oh, that's cool. So, that's really good. Yeah, you'll enjoy that. So
I will.
Take a little extra time and get there a few days earlier, stay a couple extra days, and wherever you're going, and kind of do some sightseeing and enjoying it, and spend a weekend or whatever. And yeah,
because now I feel like I can do those things. Like I'm excited to be able to do things versus just being tired all the time.
Yeah, actually, my daughter is a big fan of. Trying to think of the show. It's it's set in Scotland. And anyway, she was going for a business trip to Europe. So she scheduled the week after, and it was a tour of all where they shot the movies and the castles and all that stuff, and going through Scotland and stuff like that. And that was pretty cool. And yeah, so you enjoy it. And I know my other daughter actually spent a semester in college. She went to Italy, and she was all over the place, and you know, got to do a lot of stuff. So you get to see things you really enjoy. It helps like open up your eyes and think a little differently than just the American way.
Yeah, no, I had, and this is the truth. I had never had the desire to travel overseas, but then when I was going to do it for work and go to the Philippines, that now I'm going to go see G and Nikki in Ireland. I just know it. One day we're going to kiss that
Yeah.
silly Blarney stone, Nikki. I don't know when, but I'm excited at the thought of even doing something like that, where in the past it would have felt like a burden and a task that I had to do, not something that I was doing for fun. Even when I went to Disney World, loved it. And I mean, I killed myself while I was there. Every part of my body hurt. I had rashes in places you don't want to talk about, blisters on every toe. It was like I suffered for months after that trip.
Yeah.
But now I know if I go, it'd be a totally different experience.
Yeah.
There were parts I barely remember because I was so tired. I remember watching the videos. It's on my other channel that I have. That's my family channel. But I filmed the trip to Disney World, and I went back and watched the stuff that we did on the final day. I'm like, I don't even remember seeing that because I was so tired. So I'm excited to be in a place. Well, I'm excited right now to go and visit my mama. I don't know what we're going to get up into. She probably doesn't either. I'll probably exhaust her again because she says I have so much energy now compared to what I did before. But I'm excited to go and do things. Well, hello, Barton.
All right. Well, with that said, we've been almost an hour and 40 minutes here, a little over an hour and 40 minutes.
It went by fast, Alan. It was so much fun.
I have tons more stuff that I could talk about, and so maybe we pick this up at another time.
You can come on my channel one day, Alan. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I would love that. So
yeah, absolutely, we'll talk.
So yeah, that would be great. So I think we're gonna kind of end it here and let Misty go on vacation and enjoy herself, and hopefully gets to see some beautiful video from the adventures in Louisiana. So,
oh yeah, we will for sure. Hey, buddy.
Margaret wants to come up and be on TV.
Yeah, I guess you want to come see all your friends. Come on, come here. Let's see. He's so bad at YouTube, though. Come see. Say hello. Hello to my friends. He's a good boy. He hates driving, though. He hates car trips. He's going to be real mad once he figures out where we're going. He knows, though, because I started packing. He doesn't like when I pack because then he knows we're going on a car trip. And he just stands up the whole time. He won't lay down. He won't sit. He just stands up.
You put him in a crate or? Yeah.
No, because that just makes him whine the whole time. And then I get really cranky. So I just let him stand up. And then he'll sleep for 2 days because he'll be exhausted, which is good because my mom's dogs don't like him very much. They don't think he's cute or funny. They think he's really loud and annoying. I love him now. But yeah, it's been fun, Alan. Thanks for having me. I really do appreciate you asking me to join. I could talk about keto with you all the time. So anytime you want, just let me know.
All right. Again, I'll put Misty's link down below, and please go over, check out her channel, subscribe to her, help her out, and let's get her channel growing. And this has been wonderful. I really enjoyed this. So.
Me too, Alan. Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good trip.
I will. Bye, everybody. Y'all have a great day. Happy Saturday.
All right. Talk to you later.
Where is he going?